Ready.
This is the Scituate Council on Aging Board of Directors meeting. Today is March 13th, 2013. I'd like to do an introduction of the board starting with Meg.
Meg Stillman.
Jim Harmon. Jerry Fiamorti.
Pam Davis.
Joan Powers.
Richard Mitchell.
Rocco Carrados.
Lawrence Joe.
Thank you. The minutes of the January meeting. Hi, Dale.
Did we start?
We started. You come on in. It's just now. The minutes of the January meeting, which I was late in getting to you, if you had a chance to review them.
Aye.
Aye. Did everybody get a chance to look at them? Anybody want to make a motion? Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, minutes accepted. Florence, staff and director reports. Please.
Okay, the programs for February, with the exception of the days that Storm Nemo call visits the senior center. The senior center was operating as usual. A new program of Qigong was unsuccessful. It was scheduled for January, but there were no sign-ups and no one showed up at the community center that morning. Because of this, the instructor decided to cancel the class altogether. That is sometimes the problem with having programs at the center when it is not manned. We also had a new program called Zumba Gold, and although only 3 people signed up for it ahead of time, 6 more showed up on the morning it was scheduled. Conducting programs in one area while staff is at another does not lead to efficient management, but to put a staff member at the site without the ability to perform their duties does not make fiscal sense. Having forum events or other forms of entertainment for the seniors is much easier to coordinate and manage. Experience has taught us that some programs will not do well at the Brookside Street site. One of the major reasons is the lack of parking. Many seniors want the forum and other similar types of programs will go to Marshfield or Duxbury for them. Now that we can use the Scituate Harbor Community Building, we can manage these programs even though we are dealing with larger numbers. Because of the prep work, much of the prep work can be done out of the center. We are seeing a lot of seniors who have never seen, we have never seen before when we hold an event at the center. They seem to be pleased that they have an alternative. The Valentine party sponsored by the Cushing School PTO had to be postponed because it was scheduled on the day of the storm. It was rescheduled for February 26th. It was a huge success with all present, seniors, children, and parents. We were thrilled with the turnout, and there had to be 75 to 100 people in that facility. One of our special seniors, Francine Campbell, shared a piñata with the children. The food was wonderful thanks to the moms, and the entertainment was first rate. To top it off, they even played bingo with prizes. As the night ended, many seniors and parents came up to say that they had a wonderful time and they want to continue this connection. The memoir group begins in March. The St. Patty's Day party is for the 12th. And we are making great progress with the health fair that will be held in April at the Scituate Harbor Community Building. The men's breakfast will resume in the spring, as well as the Italian class, and we are hoping to have a discussion group or perhaps another course that may be interesting to our seniors. That's all I have on that. The director's report is as follows. The budget has been completed and has been reviewed by the town administrator. We presented the budget to the selectmen on the 19th of February. The final review was done by the advisory committee on February 21st. Both of the presentations were successful. The budget was cut in some places and increased in others based on the history of spending during the former fiscal year. We will be operating with a budget that is $1,428 lower than the last fiscal year. The structure at Town Hall has changed, at least temporarily. The Council on Aging will be under Al Baggett, and we will conduct all business with Al from now on. I recently had a meeting with the town administrator and Al Baggett and covered some of the concerns that appear to be problematic for the seniors, and are making plans to deal with those issues. I am happy to report. He's now the assistant town administrator.
Assistant town.
So how many, who else is?
Besides it.
Kevin Chessier, the selectman did. Kevin Chessier is was his assistant. He's DPW chair now. And,
But are all the different departments now reporting into him?
7 of them are to Al. All the internal departments are to, he's doing all the external departments, myself, recreation, anything that's not in town hall, and as well as overseeing DPW, and the rest of them will be overseen by the town administrator. Okay. I am happy to report that we have finally resolved the problem with our GATRA budget and have billed out 6 months of revenues we were unable to bill out for. The amount we'll be recovering, that we will be recovering this year is $93,000. One out of the, I'm sorry, wearing my glasses on, that's awful. One of the mechanisms we used in order to comply with the mandates of the system was to bill out GATRA for the LINK program that the town has paid for since the program began. On March 5th, we were doing a program in tax and a tax program, telling the seniors about the rebates, the deferred taxes, the CPS tax that they can have taken off their taxes, any kind of things that they can do for a tax break. So that was not only, we had a big showing for that, and the cable television came and they filmed it, and it's going to be on the cable on a regular basis.
Oh, good.
So those seniors that have constantly said, what's going on, because some towns have booklets, some towns have it on the web, and we don't have any special place for it. So that way it's going to be on cable on a regular basis, and so a lot of the seniors will know, what's available for them.
Have they looked into the, the program where they can work?
That has never been a big success in this town.
Is it because the jobs aren't there, or because people aren't?
They only allow you to work at town hall, so that leaves about 6 jobs. So that means about 6 people can work.
Are there a lot more people that are requesting?
Oh, yeah. And I mean, some of the towns like Hingham have 48 working at a time.
I thought we were going to be able to have some people down here that was discussed. It didn't happen.
And why?
Not going to happen.
What's the reason given that they can only offer those 6 positions?
I was told because there's only one person who can administrate it, and she's got enough to do, and to have people all over the place, she can't be sure of what they're doing. So that's what I was told. So we can't help them here. Let's see, we certainly could use help, but that's, what can I say? The town assessor, and he did, Steve Jarabowski is one of the nicest people, and he really knows his stuff. So if you ever have problems with taxes, don't be afraid to go up and see him, because he's very, very open, he's very cooperative, and he really wants you to know what's going on. So, and it's the assessor's office is right after you go in the front door. There's the clerk and then there's the assessors. Let's see. The senior center will host the annual St. Patrick's Day party with the usual corned beef and all the fixing, along with the entertainment. The date has been booked for some time, with several seniors on the waiting list. Jerry, myself, and my daughter Kathy God will be doing the cooking, and many volunteers will help with the prep and the serving. We are busy with the planning for the health fair on the 26th, and have many organizations, 26 organizations that will present. We will be needing volunteers for that as well. There are so many concerns with the new health care bill, and that's really a mess. And we're weeding through that right now. MCOA is, I am, all of the, some of the directors are, because it's a very, very, it's very problematic, and it just is, a lot of it is not good news. So we want to know exactly what's going to be called out for it, because the seniors need to know. We could run a forum a week. We really could, with the information the seniors want and should have. We could have one every week. Unfortunately, we don't have the time to staff to do it. We will continue what we can with what we have in the very best way possible. Respectfully submitted. Okay, I have the social service report from Nancy and Jenny. Home visits for February were 5. Office visits at the COA were 25. Meetings or events attended was 1. Telephone calls, 79. Referrals made, 12. Duplicated numbers, which, as you know, means they've been there before, 117. Unduplicated members, first time, 43. This month, the social service attended a health fair meeting. We are finalizing plans for the April 26th bonanza, as they call it, in which COA, along with the Board of Health, will be holding a fabulous health and safety fair. This is the ride, the transportation report. In February of 2013, given all of the snow and the bad weather, we still had 382 rides. The link was 46. We do not use the map because we don't have to, so we let the other towns use it. The total is 428. Total volunteer hours were 0, and we have no drivers last month in February. Total miles driven by our vans were 1,012. So, and there were days that we didn't run the vans at all, depending on, if the seniors are good, we have to make that determination. We have a policy here that if there's no school, they don't run the vans. But on school vacation and things like that, if something is, something's amiss in terms of the weather, then we have to make the determination whether it's safe to run the vans, because the seniors have to leave their homes and get on the van and get off the van and come back on the van. So sometimes, especially if conditions are slippery and unsafe, it's just not worth running the vans. We don't want to put them in harm's way.
Anybody have any questions for us other than what we talked about? Old business, just a reminder about the health fair on April 26th. That was all we had. Anybody else have any old business that we want to discuss? New business, forms recognizing the donations.
Yes.
Do you have the information on amounts or anything that you
yes,
wanted to specify?
We received $2,000 from the Reedy Foundation, and Audrey and I sat down to determine where that money was going to go. and because she was representing the foundation. And so we had 3 places it was going to. One was going to be fuel assistance, one was going to be prescriptions assistance, because sometimes seniors will have a prescription that's cannot be filled because they can't afford the copay, or else there is no copay and they have to pay the whole thing. So, so we will help with that. And the other is emergencies, you know, somebody who may have a window out or something is, you know, that they need help with. So that's what we use. The other was Rotary. And the Rotary gave us $1,000, and we put that into emergency services, and which means that, you know, case by case. But anyone who applies for fuel assistance or emergency services, because of the fact that it's money that's given, we are legally bound to have an application form, and we have to have some standards.
For the fuel assistance?
Well, the fuel assistance we provide, yes. And not the fuel assistance that the state provides is between them.
Right.
And they, of course, they fill out a much larger financial statement than we do. But we do have that for our records, and we have to have, you know, we have to have some, because, you know, there are certain standards that have to be met if we're going to fill it. Some things have to be present in order to make the gift, because it's somebody else's money. And we have had, I mean, I can't tell you how, you know, the intergenerational thing has been so successful. We had Vicky Carr's troop down here. We're going to do one troop a year that was selling cookies on a busy day, one of the school vacation days. And they made out like bandits. The seniors bought a lot, but they enjoyed having them.
People were walking in off the street.
Yeah.
We had a sign out, you know, the billboard sign out. And people were pulling up, walking in, you know, so it was great.
Yeah. So, and that's been really successful. We, you know, we have from time to time. Right now, we're involved with the seniors, the junior class down at the Scituate High School, and they every year, as I told people yesterday at St. Patrick's Day, we were looking for volunteers, and every year we do this. We take 50. It's the social studies teacher. What's his name?
Mr. Sweat.
Yeah, Mr. Sweat. Yeah. And every year were you involved last year?
I was not actually.
Yeah. Every year they take 15.
I should have.
We take 15 seniors, and they usually assign 2 kids to each of the seniors. And what they do is they really have telephone conversations. Sometimes they meet with them. And what they're trying to do is they want to know what the seniors' experiences were as kids and as teenagers especially, what they saw then and what they're seeing now, and you know, what the differences were and how different it was to live during those times. And we had many seniors who had a lot of different experiences. We had an artist, they came from everywhere. We had a retired military. We had one fellow who was not only military, but he was behind the lines in Germany. He was acting as a spy for the United States. So he was in intelligence and and he was also a pilot. So there was, we had old Scituate guys like Gil Wilder, who is hysterical. He's in his 90s. And we had, you know, Myron Bullock, who's another one who's, you know, has had this marvelous life. And so the kids were fabulous. They worked so hard. The presentation was absolutely beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. The kids were really proud of it. The seniors were thrilled. So we're doing it again this year. It's going to be a yearly thing that we do every year with the high school.
That's right.
And, you know, they can learn from each other. And I think that's a strength in any intergenerational program. Where I'm having a meeting with the principal from Jenkins because she wants to tie in with us in some way so that the children from Jenkins can benefit from the seniors and the seniors' experience. So, you know, we're touching a lot of bases and hearing from a lot of people in the community. And it was very interesting this time when I gave the budget, especially to the advisory committee, because the advisory committee was absolutely so supportive of the seniors and the seniors having a home. And they were very direct about it, and they were really, it really felt good. Really did, because most of them are young people. And I think that, you know, this connecting is invaluable for us and for them. And the kids love it, and the seniors love it. If you could see those kids lying on the floor playing bingo, and the seniors behind them playing bingo, and, you know, and they can't do enough for the seniors, you know, waiting on them, and they're just adorable, adorable kids. And the gals who run it, like Tara Stone, I can't say enough. Tara used to be on our board. And so it's really special.
6 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
that's great. Anything else for new business? Anybody have anything they want to bring? Then we'll go to the reports. Joan, do you have anything for
Well, we went over the new bylaws and we went over the new budget. And the Dancing with the Stars fundraiser gave $7,500 to the special needs friends for South Shore Elder Services. So that was a big thing. And they, the program afterwards with information was a volunteer program presented by Jody Hodgson. And one of the interesting things was that altogether for the South Shore Meals on Wheels, they have 281 volunteers. And there was other factors, but I thought that was interesting.
Okay. Jerry?
There's no meeting scheduled yet this month for COD, and last month I was away.
Okay. Richard Mitchell.
So,
What do you have to say about the Gate School renovation project?
Well,
and
yeah. So on the January 9th minutes, you note that I asked if anybody had heard whether this group, this Public Facilities Master Plan group, was meeting yet. And nobody in the room had any knowledge about it. So, next we heard about it. Morris attended a meeting with some of the town officials who let her know that yes, indeed, they'd been meeting already and had I think 3 meetings already.
Yeah, I wanted to know where you were.
And wanted to know where I was. So,
where were you?
thanks for looking into it. Well, where I was
waiting for them.
I hadn't received any notices. I hadn't been contacted.
Yes, she said this.
They
Kim Donovan told me.
said that they had incorrectly typed in my email address 3 times. And so I didn't get a notice. So then I received via email the notes from 2 of the 3 meetings, I guess, which I can share with you. And do you think it's okay to have any
Absolutely,
section? Okay.
absolutely, yeah. Yeah, the
There were
minutes are all
3 people on
public.
the committee that weren't showing up. Is that what, because they weren't contacted? Because my neighbor's on that committee too.
He wasn't
They haven't
contacted.
had a
I
meeting
knew
yet.
that. I said to them
On
at
the
the time,
stakeholders meeting?
that can't be right. That can't be right. There's got to be something. And that's,
Oh,
yeah.
I'm gonna call it tonight.
So, and here's the
I'll
second
look on
meeting.
the administrator.
Oh,
And
here's the second.
apparently, it's on the calendar, they're not
I guess, all right. I don't
email,
email.
but it's on the calendar.
So probably you pass it along, you've got one already. I'll give that to them. Hello.
There's supposed to be one on the 19th. Isn't that what they told you, that the
They
next
told
one?
me that the next one is next Tuesday,
Okay,
so
that's
I,
true.
not having heard yesterday, I emailed, I guess it's the town administrator,
Yeah.
and asked her what was up, because it's not on the town calendar either. And the response I got back was, it's not posted yet. So since it's Wednesday night, the meeting is only, at this point, a few days away, I don't know
It's like 48 hours, I think. is
what they're doing.
Yeah.
Here, like that.
48 hours.
Two
2 pages.
I didn't even pause it.
So in reading these, I referenced the February 26th version. You'll see at the top there, middle school, waiting formal mass process invitation, I guess this month. On the Gates School, the second bullet, the board approved 2 scenarios. It would be nice to know what those were. And ask for a full cost estimate. And then if you skip down to initial next steps, they want to schedule tours of various town facilities, including the senior center. I think Patricia is under the impression that Tuesday night's meeting is here. Are you aware of that, Florence?
No.
Okay.
They have a keynote.
And, that they'll schedule field visits to public safety complexes and other towns, senior centers. We'll get a tour of the Gates Middle School again. And I guess, figure out what the financing looks like for the package.
Yeah. Well, boy, it would be nice to know what those scenarios are.
It would be.
Yeah.
And then on the January 29th document, not to kind of duplicate what we just went through, this shows that they intend to complete the feasibility study for the middle school in August.
Has that started yet, do you know? That feasibility study?
Haven't been to a meeting yet, so I don't know.
Okay. I know, we see it's
I knew you'd
completed in August,
appreciate
I'm
it.
wondering if it's begun yet.
They're hiding in the closet.
And the other thing that I noticed that maybe you guys knew about, but I thought was interesting, under public safety complex, there's a bullet about transfer of land, 6 acres at Route 3A and Manlot Road from the school committee to the board of selectmen that will be voted on next month.
That's for the public safety, no.
That's good. No, I don't think so. Wait, where's that again?
Manlock
Under
Road,
public safety complex, the 3rd bullet down.
yeah.
So that would be where the new fire and police is
Oh,
gonna
you know,
go.
isn't that the piece of property that was donated but had to be used for a school?
No.
That's not that?
Maybe at
No.
one time, but
No, you
And
know
now
what?
they're trying to transfer it, maybe?
Yeah, no, the property is the Ellis Estate.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, that's not that.
Okay.
That has always been earmarked or looked at
Right.
for public safety in the past. And that would be a combination of fire and the police.
Yeah, okay.
And then on the next page, the top bullet under the other categories says they intend to present a full plan to the fall town meeting for approval and authorization, followed by a ballot question.
For the whole master plan and the school?
Again, you know what I know.
that looks like what it would be, because they're not gonna have the school information until August this year. Is that correct? Is that how you were translating this 270 days to complete on or about August
Yeah,
for the middle school?
yeah.
So everything is being
The
voted on in
warrants
November?
should be,
Yes, I
the
think so.
warrants won't come out until, I think, 7 days before the town meeting. But there's at least 45 warrants,
That's a
maybe
lot of
more.
money that they're gonna be asking for. What the hell they're gonna get? Oh, boy. Okay, so hopefully you're gonna have a meeting.
Or go to a meeting.
Or go to a meeting.
Get invited to
If
a
they get
meeting.
fined,
I will attend if invited.
Yeah.
But you're not
Just
the only
watch
one
the
that's been
calendar.
left off.
Well,
I don't know of another one. Unless, are there two, is there a just specific building? No.
This is
No.
a stakeholders meeting.
This
what
is a
she called it.
stakeholders meeting.
You're not the only one that's been left out.
Who is it, Jen? It's not Jen, it can't be Jen, they never leave her off.
Lori Schneider.
Oh.
Is the superintendent on this? Oh, you don't.
I don't know. I don't know who's organizing it, who's on it, who sends the emails out.
Yeah.
Kim Donovan sends the emails out, that I know.
Huh.
That I found out. So I know that's who does it.
Can I add to his too?
Please.
So my friend is part of the Friends for Scituate. So you'd asked me to always call for an update beforehand. So I did that. And basically she said we're in a holding pattern. They were unaware, which you have a March date, I guess. She thought it was an April 3rd or something. They were unaware that they were having to wait for another kind of sign off from the MSBA, which she thinks is coming at the beginning of April. And then I think they're hoping everything starts to happen. So that must be when that 270-day thing would start. They also said that they met, the library group had requested that they meet with them, and they met with the library group, you know, just to share resources and information, and they said that was really helpful. And the library group specifically said that they had also reached out and tried to meet with the seniors. Have no idea who they contacted, but this is what they told
I talked to them.
But they said they're anxious to work with this.
No, what
Senior
they
group
wanted to do is they wanted to come in and have a coffee. I mean, I'm working with them for something else, but right now, as far as the monies and the fundraising, they wanted to come in to let the seniors know what was going on in terms of the fundraising and what was going to be there. And I can tell you right now that we have a sign-up, and the sign-up was available for 4 weeks, and not one person signed up.
Well,
So-
I don't, this is all she said, but my thought is, you know, they're trying to connect with them and help each other out, share resources, and maybe down the road, if there are coffees and stuff, wouldn't it be great for all these groups to be working together and talking about what they're looking for?
Absolutely not, no. I have found that what happens when people raise money, this is over 30 years of experiencing, haven't been involved in raising a lot of money, that people stick to their own needs. And let me tell you, if there are resources out there, I talked to some of the people at the library. The problem with what happened at the library is that when that warrant was put on, it was voted by the town that they would raise the other $7 million.
Right.
It was never, ever voted that the town would pan over $7 million.
And I think their hope is that they know their chances are slim to none. It's just, they know that their chances are slim to get, they're hoping to raise that money.
They're not going to. They're not going, they have
Maybe
500.
some secret donor out there, who knows?
There's no.
And they have a short, that's not a great message.
Yeah, but you know what?
They wanted to
I mean, when you look at what's going on in this town right now, Dave, okay? I mean, you've got dessert and you've got dinner. They're dessert, they're not dinner. You have a nice library now, it isn't in need of, it's not in desperate need of anything. You have a school that is in need. You have other things that are in need. Those are the things that people are going to fund. They are not going to fund the extras. They don't have the money. And as far as the seniors go, they will not get any money from seniors, I'll tell you right now. Because the seniors are already concerned with what they're going to have to spend in terms of their taxes. And in terms of funding a library, that's not something we have to have. Well, children have to have a school.
I get that. I'm not saying this is a money thing.
But you can't have everything. You cannot have everything. You have to make choices and compromises because we only have so much money. And that's what we have to do. And I mean, and I think the selectmen have pretty much said that. So I think
their meeting together was not at all about the money thing. Their meeting together was to sit down and say, how can we help each other? What can we do to share resources?
But why does the school need the library's help? You people, the school is going to be funded by the town and the government. Why does the school need the resources, the same resources, or any resources like the library? What's the connection?
We're all part of one community.
No. What's the connection in terms of building? I mean, how can one help the other? They can't.
They can emotionally support each other, and that's about it. Okay. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just going to share personal experience that I've had in that building recently, and I think it's important, regardless if it's a school or if they're looking to new town offices, and especially a senior center.
At Gates School?
At Gates School.
Yeah.
My daughter recently had surgery. She's in a wheelchair, and they cannot accommodate her.
No.
It is, I had no idea. When we went on the tour this summer, I happened to mention to the principal that she would be having the surgery, she would be in a wheelchair for quite some time. They immediately, she clued right in, and she made sure she was on a certain team. I'd had meetings with her, the guidance counselor, just to try and accommodate her. And the money, the resources, and the time you put in to accommodate one child, and they're not accommodating her. It's ridiculous. The building, the way it's set up, this child, and so isolating.
And with that lift?
There's two different lifts. The lift doesn't run. Last week, she was there for half a day. She got stuck midway through the lift for 10 minutes by herself. Classes changed, so everybody in the school was stuck and couldn't get
because they can't
down the staircase, and there she was. Now, fortunately, this is a short-term thing, but think of somebody who is always in a wheelchair
I don't think you
and sitting in the middle. I said, what did you do? She said, I just put my head down.
Oh, what a shame.
And then, today there was another issue, and, we just parked her in the library for half an hour. There are multiple classes that they just really can't get her to.
Wow.
I was, and they've been wonderful, and they've been very accommodating, but they're so strapped in terms of that building. I had absolutely no idea. And I think that we have to go into this with our eyes wide open, regardless. I mean, it clearly, they really encouraged me to get this tutoring form filled out, thinking that, I think basically they'd rather just tutor her at home than deal with her in the building, but she wants to be at school. And the orthopedic surgeon took one look at it, and he said, does your town realize that this is illegal?
Really?
Oh yeah. It's amazing we have not been sued, because they cannot accommodate kids. And then I look at, there was another boy who was on crutches when I bring Maggie in every day.
He's new to the town.
No, he just sprained an ankle or something, on crutches. Well, it's so difficult to get around that school on the lifts and the elevators. So I said to Maggie, how is this child getting around? She said, he's just using the stairs. And I think, gosh, to do crutches on two stairs with crutches is really tough, and
it's dangerous.
Dangerous, right.
There's another child in the wheelchair there, brand new student.
No, I don't think he's there yet. He's coming.
She decided what to move. She's on the board now, Commission Disabilities.
Yes,
and she's very upset
and I think
about
she's getting a law degree, specializing in that. So, but I believe she's in, that child is in elementary school. But
you know
right
why
down the pike.
They got away with this for so long? Because if a building is a certain age, ADA, you get grandfathered. Absolutely, I know that, because I've worked out of older buildings. And there are not the same requirements. It is. I don't know why. It doesn't make any sense to me. It never has. But I can tell you that happens all the time. If a building this building doesn't comply, but it's 1834 and it's grandfathered. So there's nothing you're gonna do about it legally because of the way the law is written. So I'm glad, I hope she does get her law degree and does work on it because it needs
She's pretty
to
adamant about it.
be. Yeah, well, good for her, because it does need, it's a disgrace.
It's a disgrace.
I agree.
And I think we have to keep our eyes wide open because, you know, to think as they're making this big plan, you're not just gonna dump the senior center in the middle of that because unless there's a huge renovation
There has to be.
or because
I
and the
know- I think
way
they
the
know that.
building is set up.
Well, I mean, that was fairly obvious when we were on the tour. I mean, there'd have to be a brain surgeon to figure that out.
When you live it is a whole different thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, it's hard,
I've
but
been
it's
shocked.
terrible for the child. And I mean,
so
especially for the
isolated.
child.
So isolated.
Yeah, but especially for the child who
Oh.
is sitting on that lift is so archaic, it must be 35 to 40 years old, has to be.
Yeah.
And that's a disgrace. I mean, to put a kid who's a teenager,
Yeah,
who's
14-year-old.
going through all of the stuff they go through, and expose them to that on top of everything else.
But can you imagine a child that's always in a wheelchair? You know, that's
Yeah.
what would it's just very isolating and it shouldn't be
Well,
that.
there was a letter to the editor, I think it was less than a year ago, about a woman had just recently moved to Scituate.
She hasn't
Is
moved
that-
yet, she had known that after schools were here, she said she would.
Okay, with the handicapped child. That's not,
That's the woman he's talking
oh,
about.
okay, so she hasn't actually moved here
Not
yet.
yet, no. I guess the house is not finished, the building is not.
Yeah.
The school does not meet, like Jerry said, does not meet the disability act. I mean, it's just, like I told Joe Norton the time he was here, that night he was here, they don't want to destroy the Gates name. I said, why? Tear the building down, leave the facade.
Exactly.
Build around it. I mean, you don't have to be a rocket scientist, because that building is so old, everything is so old in there and decrepit and just completely out of this day and age. There's no electronic stuff in there or anything like that. And it's ridiculous what we're doing. We're putting good money into bed.
Yeah.
But one
And then I
of the
can't
things-
even think about, what I can't even think about is if there's an emergency in that building, what happens to my child?
Yeah, that's it is.
I mean, one of the things I
Hopefully somebody
can
picks up
tell
and
you,
grabs
because
it.
I've been involved in the renovation of old buildings, okay? Two of my clinics were in old lofts in New Bedford, and they were done over. One of them had been previously used. We were using just the first floor, and that was fine because no one cared. It was grandfathered. As soon as we started the first renovation, as soon as we pulled the plans, ADA came in. And every single renovation had to meet their criteria, right up until what you were handing out, because we were clinics, and we had to have TTY, we had to have Braille literature for the blind. I never got a blind client in all the years I was there. We had to have it. And they came in and they measured the doorways in the bathrooms and how high they were. Let me tell you, they will be held accountable in anything that they start to renovate, because that's when ADA comes in.
When we were going to rehab this building, that was one of the reasons that, for the size of this building, we were looking at almost $2 million to bring this building up to code, open to access the second floor,
Have the elevator.
and have usable space. We needed 2 stairways, the elevator, and we were looking at $2 million, 1.9, I think.
And we were going to
1.6,
lose 188 188 feet because we had to put lolly columns all the way down here to support the upstairs.
So I don't think, they're not going to get away with anything.
No.
if they rehab gates
Yeah.
for everybody to.
Well, that's why the,
It's a big
that's
shame
why
that
the
it's taken.
community center, they'll never go
It should never have
upstairs.
gotten this
No.
far.
It's-
They'll never
they
go
should-
upstairs for that reason, in the community center.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's too bad, I feel bad for you.
Well, no, I mean, you know,
It's just not
fortunately,
right.
this is a temporary thing, but, you know.
Fortunately,
It's a very worrisome
And-
thing for you.
But it's amazing that nobody has blown the whistle on this, because it's
But were they
totally-
Well, that lady's letter, that lady's letter to the editor, I guess maybe you missed that, but, well, she was blowing the whistle.
The
I
other
think
thing
it's
is,
what
last
in the
year,
mail,
nothing they could do
Children's
with
was furious. He said, this is, you know, when he started to ask about what would, you know, her, I mean, it's just.
But they grandfathered though, because they haven't made any major renovations, so they don't have to.
They don't have to, no.
But you think in good conscience,
If they moved
somewhere along
it,
the
yeah,
line, they would have done it.
they would have had to, but they didn't have to.
Yeah.
And I can tell you.
But I have to believe that the combination of that, and then the combination of the laws, the special education laws that came out in the early 90s that basically say you have to educate a child in the least restrictive environment,
Right.
between the two,
If
something
you have-
should have been done.
If you ever went into some of the old Boston schools that are still operating, like the Timothy School and a lot of the others that are still operating, you would find the same thing.
Same thing,
And they are not doing
because
anything.
they're grandfathered. You
What
won't
about
get-
disabilities takes precedence? I don't understand this.
Well, I guess there's a law that only takes it so far.
That disability act, Jerry, is only.
I mean, they weren't putting a ramp to
Yeah.
have dog watches.
But I'm saying, it's not that disability act not that old. How many years has it been in effect?
Well, it doesn't make any difference, they defect last week, it should take precedence.
Well, they should take precedent, but they won't, because they, like you, their grandfather, they push that aside, they don't care. They don't care. Like it's a worry for her, for her daughter, it's like everybody else, you know, you send a kid to school.
Or any other child, yeah.
You send a kid to school, you wanna make sure he's safe.
And I was literally told I couldn't send my child to school. I called, and this is not because they're not doing their jobs. They're doing a great job. I have nothing, I mean, they've really worked, they shouldn't have to be working this hard to accommodate my child.
Yeah.
But I was told, we're not ready for her. I called on a month, 2 weeks ago, a week ago, and said, okay, I'm bringing her this morning. Oh, she can't come today. We're not ready for her.
And what did they have to do to make it?
They had to bring somebody in, they had to hire somebody to bring her around and be able to run the lift.
Yeah, like,
Oh, Nick,
like,
I'm so sorry.
No, it's just, I just think people need to realize how bad it is.
Yeah.
That you can't accommodate something really that.
Oh,
my
I think
granny-
until you live it, you don't, you know, until you
Yeah, and
when you hear your first-hand experience, people don't realize, or they're unable to contemplate, what if this happened to my child? But it's happening to you, and we're able to, you know, hear.
And the teachers and the administrators should not be having to spend that kind of time on how to accommodate one child.
Wow.
The town of Scituate is
Good luck.
going back in the old days, where they're going with it, instead of going forward, we're going backward. Because there should be a lot of commercial property in this town. So we get some little bit of relief on tax for the young and the old. I mean, and
Yep.
let's not monkey around, we've got a greenway. I mean, who needs a greenway? Let's face it, how many people go in the woods today? They don't have time to go, well, you came in, I don't know if you want to.
I know.
Okay, on that note, would you let me know, and I will let the rest of the board know if you hear anything about a meeting next week? And
Are you home often enough to get the message?
there is a calendar on the town's website, and that's where it's supposed to be posted. I thought that they would be sending that out when there's a committee meeting, when there's a Board of Assessors meeting, or anybody else.
It's not in the calendar.
I mean, the advisory committee, when any of those committees have a meeting, it's posted by the webmaster, and everybody that is supposed to get the email gets the email.
But was that
But they had
posted?
his email address wrong, so he wouldn't
Exactly,
get it
right.
Well,
But I mean,
and
it would have
it
gone
was
to
somebody
me.
else's.
Oh, I
It would
see.
have gone to
I see
me,
what
or
you mean.
anybody else that's on the town's email list. Florence is on it. But they're not doing that apparently with the stakeholder meeting. And so that's why we didn't know anything about it. And I never thought that if it wasn't, if you didn't get an email that you had to check the town calendar, it just didn't, because everybody that gets the email, it's usually on the calendar. So anyway, just let us know if you can, and I'll send a flash out to everybody.
And if you see something, let me
I
know.
will definitely let you know.
We'll get you there, Richard.
We'll get you to that meeting, Richard, somehow.
Most of the CIA, though.
Don't plan any trips to Paris.
He always is.
You're in the middle of a snowstorm right now anyway, so you don't want to go there.
Okay, does anyone have anything else they would like to discuss at the meeting? If not, go ahead.
Oh, I just
You have
wanted
something brief?
to say that yesterday was the actual St. Patrick's Day
How
lunch
was it?
party, and it was great.
Good.
It was terrific, and it was tons and tons of teamwork. Just all around, all the volunteers, not only Jerry and Kathy Gard doing the cooking, and Florence and myself getting the supplies. There were, sometimes at these functions, we don't have enough volunteers really to serve the people and clean up afterwards. In a way, there were so many volunteers, senior volunteers, some of them were like practically tripping over each other, and it's much better that way than having not enough. It was great fun, but I think it worked so well because it was a huge team effort.
Yeah, that's terrific.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay. It is now 6:52 and we are going to adjourn the meeting. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.